Hey guys, TRScientist here, and today I'm back for day number 28 of r/RegularRevenge. Oh my gosh, we're so close to the end of the third month. And today I have two stories plus a meta message to read out. We'll start off with the meta message first, so let's get into it. A message to YouTubers reading content from this subreddit. Hello everyone, this post is about YouTubers reading content from this subreddit. While I won't be expressing my personal opinion about these channels in this post, I might make a comment if asked, but I won't name names. There is something that needs to be addressed, linking back to the story or stories you read. Of the dozen or so stories I found taking content from this sub, none of them linked back to the content they were reading. While I am not in the business of sending out DMCA claims, since it isn't my content, not giving thoughts or opinions, thereby causing the content to fall under fair use, and simply reading it off, or being incredibly lazy and just using text-to-speech programs can be considered a violation of the poster's copyright if monetized. I've personally reached out to a few YouTubers that read off posts, but finding a direct communication for some is difficult. I've asked them to start linking to the content they use in the description of their videos, and I don't mean just for RegularRevenge, I mean for any subreddit. While I appreciate the traffic these YouTubers may drive to our sub, taking 2 minutes to post a simple link somewhere in the description would benefit us and the content creators more. Thank you for your time. Okay, yes, I agree with this. I just want to duck down to the comments. I don't want to be the YouTuber that just uses the text-to-speech programs. Honestly, because I've never encountered one of those. Like, I have seen some channels that do that, but I do read off posts and I try to give my own personal opinion on it. But for this stuff, I don't want to do face cam because it's just like, it's sort of like acknowledging the fact that there are some YouTubers out there that just read off the posts. Like, I'll use Dark Fluff as an example because he does do that stuff. And if you haven't checked out Dark Fluff, go and check out his videos. But what I might start doing after I finish this month, I'll put in the description a link to the Reddit page, or just like the subreddit at least. And I have like so many videos I have to go back through and do that with, so I'm not going to do it right away. I'll try and do it soon enough. Or is I just go take the Reddit, like the link for the Reddit subreddit, and just put it in the description. Not a big issue. I can do that easily. And my plan after this big project that I'm doing is I'm literally just not going to be doing any more Reddit stuff, actually. So yeah, that's what the plan is with this project. After I finish it, I'm out of it. If the videos do get monetized, I will make sure I go back and just be like, okay, put the links in every single Reddit video I've ever done. Let's move on to the next story now, because I don't want to get I've gone too far into it for now. That time a taxi driver thought he got away with a hit and run. Don't really know if it is actually revenge, but it kind of feels like it. Maybe more comic. Non-native speaker. I hope you enjoy. So it was December last year, already dark out, and I was driving home after work. At that time, I drove a very recognizable POS car of around $600 self-pimped with very nice wrapping and god-awful bright red mud flaps. I have grown since. I was overtaking a car when the mentioned taxi was driving up my rear too close for comfort while flashing his high beams to try to get me out of his way. I am not easily impressed by this behaviour, and once I have overtaken the car, I moved to the right. He passed me, swerved in front of me, and brake checked me. I laid on the horn, he sped off, and I thought that was the end of it. A minute later, he was stuck behind a low car on the left, and I was nearly behind him. Without warning, he turned on his blinker and swerved into my lane in what I assumed was an attempt to get me to rear-end him, but it failed and clipped my front left side instead. We both pulled over, and as soon as we stopped, he came up to me shouting, discriminating, and threatening me. I stayed calm, but was pretty shook, especially after all the nonsense he was spouting. I was reaching for an insurance form when he decided to get back in his car and drive away, nearly hitting another car. At that moment, I decided to get back at him. What I knew and he didn't is that I have a dash cam and it was pretty well hidden. I contacted my brother-in-law for a damage estimate. He works in the garage and helps me maintain my car, and visited him later that evening. I also contacted police and scheduled an appointment to get him charged for hit and run, threatening, and discrimination. Thanks to my in-law, the damage ended up being close to $800 with spray work and hours. I got his number plate in full HD on my dash cam and contacted his insurance. The guy was smart enough to deny being involved, but after reviewing the footage, the money was quickly deposited in my account. This was in February. In June, I got contacted by the police. The investigation has ended. They found the suspect. I'll be contacted later for a court date. He'll face a hefty fine and may be banned from driving for a short period of time. In short, his decision to run away cost him his premiums and may be costing him more money and his job as a taxi driver. TLDR, buy a dash cam. You may not need it, but if you do, it might be worth its money. I don't need a dash cam because I'm planning to never drive. I am planning to just never drive. Ever. Go and watch the Idiots and Cars videos that I've done and you'll learn why I don't want to drive a damn car at all. Like, me and cars, just no. Keep them in two separate bubbles. Okay, moving on to the last story. My homophobic stepmother made my life a living hell, so I signed her up for Scientology newsletters, among various other things. So, a bit of background. When I was 14, my biological father got together with this woman who we'll call Chris. The first time I met her was when she texted me and asked me what colour I wanted my room to be painted, as well as claimed that she was my dad's girlfriend and wanted me to friend her on Facebook so we could connect/talk to each other. Now, I had never seen or heard from this woman until this point, but because she had a picture of her and my bio dad together, I decided that she was telling the truth, so I friended her. Naturally, when my mum found out, she was pissed. Not at me, but at her, because she had never heard of this woman before and was probably scared that she would try to groom me or influence me to do bad stuff. So my mum contacted my bio dad, who we'll call Tommy, and Tommy verified Chris's claims and confirmed that they were dating. But my mum was still very mad at her and said that Chris had better hope that she and her never meet, etc., etc. And I got a big old lecture on internet safety and the fact that Photoshop was a thing and that I needed to be more careful because Chris could have been lying to me. Fast forward to me being 15. I was sent to go live with Chris and her husband because I was dissatisfied with my home life and told my real parents as such. My biological dad had finally decided to take me in, so I had to go anyways because it was in the divorce paperwork that I was to go live with Tommy during the summer until I turned 16 and could decide who I wanted to live with permanently. When I got to Chris's house, things were fine for a while, but eventually all hell started to break loose once she started to show her true colours as the step monster from hell. Some of the things she did include tell me that she would make her family disown me because I didn't want her to post my pictures on Facebook due to the fact that I didn't know any of the people she was friends with and she was making me uncomfortable. Chris said that she was going to show me off to her family members so they would know me and that I didn't want her to do that. And that if I didn't want her to do that, then I must obviously not want to be part of her family. We played Monopoly afterwards to calm her down. Wouldn't let me go to school for an entire week and threatened to not let me go to school if I got grounded because the school was online and she hated online school. And when I wasn't going to school, she'd make me and my brothers do bullshit school activities, but we weren't learning anything because there was no curriculum, which caused me to fail a major test at my school because I wasn't able to do my schoolwork. I contacted my teachers when she threatened me and told them to call DHS if I wasn't in school which she flipped out about. Cared a lot about her reputation and used Facebook to keep up appearances. Lied to me a lot about the dumbest shit and tried to force me into staying with her by trying to manipulate me into saying that my real parents were abusive, but failed. Told me that she was gonna make me go see a pastor when Tommy went on a homophobic tirade towards me and I wasn't receptive to it because I was being rebellious and tried to take pictures of the tissues I used with her phone because I cried a lot during Timmy's rant and used multiple tissues to dry my eyes up. Basically threatened to kick me out, to throw all my possessions out of her house and make me sleep in a tent in her yard if I ever burnt her microwave, accidentally or on purpose. She did it because I made a joke about putting food in the microwave and it exploding and bursting into flames. Don't ask me why I did this particular joke, I don't know myself, but I do know that I was trying to be funny at the time. I'm also mildly autistic and have trouble with social interaction, so... Chris also knew that too, by the way, but either didn't care or used it as an excuse to attempt me to treat me like a 6-year-old. Constantly lied to my mother that I was having a good time with her when I wasn't and tried to make me out to be a bad person towards my mum and got mad at my mother when she wasn't receptive to it. Knew that I was most likely gay because my mum told her before shit hit the fan because she knew that I was questioning my sexual orientation and wanted Chris to be sensitive about it. Chris said that it was fine and that she wasn't homophobic, but she most definitely was. I say this because after Tommy's tirade, I wasn't allowed to touch my brothers in even the slightest way, and even enforced it with them. Sure, the rule existed when I was first there, but it was even more strongly enforced after it was basically confirmed that I was gay due to the fact I refused to fall for Tommy's bullshit. Refused to let me babysit my brothers despite being old enough to do so, which again happened after I was basically outed as gay. Tried to say that I was molesting / wanted to molest my brothers because I let one of them sit in my lap when he wanted to. He was 7 at the time, but I had him get off because it felt weird but I wasn't really able to articulate it properly at the time. I confronted my bio dad about it, and we talked about it. It was mostly resolved, or so I thought, etc., etc. But nothing, and I mean nothing, came close to when she lied and said that I looked up gay porn and shit on her cell phone and told my bio dad that I did it. Probably because I told her that I was excited to go home to my mother when she asked me, and it resulted in me having to call the police on my bio dad because he assaulted me and threatened me with knives, among other things. After I called the police on them, I was forced to do my schoolwork in the living room, and I was only allowed my laptop after Tommy woke up and gave it to me while he and his wife watched me. Both took turns to make sure I was only doing my homework. During this time, Chris would try to start shit with me by asking me why I hated her so much, guilting me for making her babies cry every day because they miss their mummy, despite the fact that she was gone for a good decent chunk of the morning during the week to go see them, and trying to catch me using electronics when I should have been, and even tried to set me up by leaving electronics in the living room alone with me, my cell phone, computer, etc., and then leaving the room in an effort to manipulate me into using them. Thankfully though, I fell for almost none of it, and I was able to, right from under their noses, communicate with my mother the stress and some of the danger I was facing, and use my laptop to look up my rights in case I was forced into going to court. I was able to do so by using my computer during my school hours and adjusting my position so that Chris nor Tommy were able to see the screen. Because I told my mum of some of the danger I was facing over the coming weekend, she talked with my bio dad and I, and she basically forced him to come to a truce with me under the guise of therapy for me when I got back home, and that if I really did do it, I would confess to the porn searches when I got home, and didn't feel threatened threatened all the time, to which Tommy fell for. However, Chris was definitely mad because after the truce, my brothers came back from staying with their grandparents, and my bio dad told me that I wasn't allowed to be alone in the same room as them for prolonged periods of time, and told Chris as much too. Despite this, she would try to sabotage me by frequently leaving the room to leave me and my brothers alone together, despite knowing that she wasn't supposed to do that, and tried to have me sit right beside my brothers in the same car, and probably leave us alone when we were together and separated from the other adults. This didn't work though, because I was on guard, and when Chris tried to leave me alone with my brothers, I simply went to my bedroom until there were adults present again. And when she tried to make me get in the car to sit right beside my brothers, despite the fact that we weren't even close to leaving yet, I declined and ran away from her to go talk to the adults nearby, which left Chris very dumbfounded due to the fact that she thought I was going to take the bait. Due to all this, during the night, right before I left and I was going to go to bed, she wished me goodnight and said, in a bitter, venomous tone, that it was fun. And by doing so, basically told me to never come back / return to her home. I went to bed happy that I was finally going home. During the next day, I flew back home where I was reunited with my real parents. However, I became very embittered towards Chris, and when I remembered the smugness written all over her face, telling me that everything that happened while I was there was fun, I became enraged and decided I wanted some payback of my own towards her. So naturally, I looked up Chris's real name to find her email and other personal info, used her work email that I found to sign her up for gay porn and a bunch of newsletters, remembered her address and used it to sign her up for printed Scientology newsletters, junk that you would receive in the mail, of which she would be unable to stop, amongst a bunch of other things that would probably leave at least a few pieces of junk in her mail each and every time she goes to collect it. registered accounts for various websites under her name, using both her email and her home address. It's been 1 month since that happened, and she hasn't contacted my parents for it, so I can only imagine what happened. But I know for a fact that it probably wasn't good, because I signed her up to registered accounts. I signed her up and registered accounts for her on dozens of sites. Plus, I again signed her up for freaking Scientology newsletters. So those people will probably never stop harassing her until she moves away from her tiny trailer park, or she gets to the bottom of the junk mail. Which she won't, because she is very tech illiterate. So, nice. I hope being mean to me was worth the fistful of junk mail, you dumb bitch. By the way, Chris, if you're reading this, you're a cunt and you deserve that junk mail. TLDR, my homophobic stepmother from hell made my life almost unbearable and tried to get me into trouble for being a pedo, so I signed her up for gay porn and various IRL junk mail. Oh my gosh. Like, why would you want to try and set a kid up as a pedo? Like, why? Why do dumb shit like this, where you can just be like, yes, I want to see my stepson go to jail for being a pedo when he's not. Like, what the fuck, man? Oh, I'm glad that you managed to get away from this stepmother, from your stepmother, and it just like, ugh. I wonder how long you, like, it was only 1 year? Like, wow. 1 year, and it was like the worst year of your life. Could have been worse. But I will not say how it could have been worse. I'm not going to go down that road, because I don't want to say something dumb and get in trouble. Anyways, links will be in the description to my main channel and also the second channel that you're on right now, with links to the playlist in the last episode. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when the next video comes out. A ding on the Mad Scientist.